me of bites. My fly has been hit twice. Ooh, I hooked it. Ooh, fish on, finally. Get back there. Look at a nice rainbow. Did not like the look of that net. Oh, yeah. Woo! Beauty. Nice big rainbow. Wow. So, they are not hitting super hard. That fish hit that worm 3 or 4 times over a stretch of maybe 100 yards. He kept coming back. He's all feisty now. But, yeah, that... ooh, and he just threw the hook. That took a while. Took a while to get that fish in the mouth. So awesome. Can't beat that. It's probably a couple pounds, I would say. Nice fish. What do you think, Lucy? You like him?
This is Vance Staplin with Vance's Tackle. We were just sitting here talking while we're fishing, and we were asked about what's the take on how you load your rod when it's in a downrigger. And you'll see, guys, where that rod is loaded almost all the way down where the tip's in the water. Well, that tells me a couple of things. And almost every time when I've asked them, I say, why do you load your rod so hard? And they'll say, well, I want it to set the hook when it pops free. But when you think about it, this rod right now is down at 31 feet. That's a 7-foot rod. If I loaded that down to the water, I might get another 3 or 4 feet out of it. That line's going down to 30 feet and going back. Well, number one, if I can crank that rod all the way down to the water, that release is set way too heavy, because you shouldn't be able to do that. It should pop off. But there's no way for that rod to set the hook into that fish, because as soon as it pops off of that release, now you've got 30 feet of slack in your line. So realistically, if you're loading that rod down real heavy, you can't see that dodger action working on the rod because it's putting so much torque on it. You've got your release set too hard, and there's really no advantage to it. It even makes it harder to see if you had a hit because there's so much pressure on the rod. So what I like to do is just get a nice little slight bend in your release. That way you can read what's going on in your rod. And primarily whenever I'm trolling, whether it's for trout or kokanee, I'm looking to use a glass rod, preferably e-glass because it's more durable. And we're not looking for a real fast action. We're not setting the hook with a rod. Primarily, if you're coming off of a downrigger, what sets the hook into the fish is the release, not the rod. So what you really want is a big parabolic long rod to slow that fish down and be able to handle that fish without putting quick, sudden pressure on it. And that's where the e-glass comes in. It's more durable. It's just easier to handle the fish. It's going to last, gives you years of enjoyment, where graphite rods tend to be, they break easier. It's just more of they're thinner wall, they're lighter. There's absolutely no reason to have a graphite rod when you're targeting fish in a trolling situation.